Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we've got something super exciting to talk about, an update that's really changing how people are playing in Zois. Yeah, the brand new V0.40 update is here, and it's honestly packed with more life, personality, and atmosphere than anything we've seen so far. I spent hours exploring everything they added and tweaked, and I can already tell this version feels like a major step forward for the game. Whether you're a storyteller, a builder, or someone who just loves experimenting with the lives of your Zois, this one's for you. So first things first, let's talk about the big seasonal theme. inZOI is celebrating Halloween, and the devs have gone all out. The world now feels festive the moment you load into your save. You'll start to notice pumpkins everywhere. On porches, in markets, even in random street corners with soft candlelight glowing inside. But it's not just for decoration this time. They've added pumpkin farming, and it's actually functional. You can plant, harvest, and even cook with them, creating special dishes that tie into the holiday vibe. There's something really satisfying about watching your little Zoe harvest pumpkins in their backyard and then turning them into a cozy autumn dinner. And if you like the creative side of things, pumpkin carving is now an actual activity. Your Zoes can carve different designs, from cute little faces to spooky ones that look like they've seen better days. The game really nailed the small details here. There's wax dripping from candles, the soft flicker of the light changing the mood of the scene, and it all just feels more alive. Now, the trick-or-treating events are adorable. Kids dressed in costumes will walk around neighborhoods, and if your household participates, your Zoe can hand out candy, decorate their porch, and even earn themed rewards. If you've built a family neighborhood, it suddenly feels like a community event. The whole area gets involved. And if you're into collecting stuff, you're going to love this part. There are 5 new ghost fish that you can catch during the event. They glow faintly under the moonlight, and catching them is such a mood. You can even display them in aquariums later as rare collectibles. It's like this small touch of mystery woven into the seasonal vibe. Now, the really interesting addition this time is something people didn't see coming: ghost play. After a Zoe dies, you can now continue playing as their ghost for a limited time. I know, that sounds a bit dark, but it's actually handled in such a heartfelt way. It's not about making death scary, it's about giving a sense of closure. As a ghost, your Zoe can interact with their surroundings in unique ways. They might visit loved ones, wander through places they used to love, or even have small reflective moments. It's subtle, but it gives this emotional depth that wasn't there before. And when the funeral system kicks in, it feels surprisingly meaningful. You can actually manage funeral-related properties now, choose locations, decide who attends, and it becomes a genuine life event rather than a sudden game mechanic. It gives the story a sense of continuity, like even endings are now part of the gameplay experience. Speaking of gameplay experience, the pacing has been seriously improved. The developers changed how time flows in the world. The default day length is now 48 minutes instead of 96. It doesn't sound like a big change at first, but trust me, it transforms how you play. Before, days could feel stretched out, and your Zois had to fill long gaps between their needs or goals. Now everything feels tighter, more responsive. Their routines make more sense. They wake up, eat, socialize, and wind down at night in a rhythm that feels natural. Needs decay has been rebalanced, so you're not constantly babysitting them or letting them idle too long. The cool part is that if you're someone who prefers that longer, more relaxed experience, you can still switch back to 96-minute days in the options menu. That flexibility shows the devs are really listening to how people want to play. But let's talk about my favorite part of this update: the mentality system. They've completely overhauled how personalities, traits, ambitions, and even urges work. Instead of having separate systems that sometimes felt disconnected, everything's now unified into what they call the mentality framework. It's basically the new heart of how Zois think and behave. What this means in practice is that your character's decisions now feel more layered. They react to situations not just based on one trait, but a combination of emotional tendencies, ambitions, and hidden impulses. So if your Zoe has a troublemaker mentality, for example, they might be more prone to stir up drama, break rules, or act out, but it's not random. It depends on their surroundings, relationships, and even their mood at the moment. You'll start noticing little differences in how they interact with others, how they respond to arguments, or how they choose activities. Some older traits have been merged or reworked, and a few new ones were added, like Recluse and Rule Breaker. Recluse is great if you want to create characters who genuinely prefer solitude. They won't just avoid social interactions, they'll thrive when alone, becoming more creative or focused. Rule Breaker, on the other hand, adds this unpredictable edge. They might challenge authority, ignore norms, or find joy in chaos. These new personalities make the social world of inZOI feel so much more organic. Conversations now carry more subtle tension and emotion. You can sense when a Zoe isn't comfortable, when they're scheming something, or when they're genuinely bonding. It's one of those systems that you can tell will only get deeper with future updates. And let's be real, the Halloween atmosphere ties perfectly into this mentality overhaul. The game has this slightly moody, nostalgic tone now. When you walk around at night with fog rolling over the streets and the sound of distant chatter mixed with eerie background music, it feels cinematic. The lighting team deserves some serious credit too. Candles, streetlights, even the glow of jack-o'-lanterns, they all blend into this warm, spooky environment that feels handcrafted. And it's not just aesthetics, it changes how you play. You might find yourself setting up night markets, haunted festivals, or quiet late night conversations that just look incredible in this lighting. One thing I noticed right away after updating is how smooth everything runs. The patch notes mentioned stability improvements, and it really shows. Load times are quicker, AI pathfinding seems smarter, and small glitches from previous builds have mostly been ironed out. The update did have a short delay before release, but it was worth it because the version that dropped today feels polished. The developers even posted a quick announcement confirming that deployment was complete and stable. That's a nice reassurance, especially for those who've been testing early builds and waiting for a smoother experience. Now, something I love about this team is how they treat player creativity. They know that people don't all play the same way. So, they've balanced this update to suit everyone. If you're someone who builds massive neighborhoods, the decorations and festive items give you so many options to make your world look seasonal. If you're more into life stories, the ghost and mentality systems give you tools to craft deeper narratives. And if you're more into the challenge side of things, trying to manage careers, relationships, and schedules, the faster day cycle and smarter AI routines make that more engaging. It's one of those updates that doesn't just add content. It reshapes how the game feels to play day to day. I've also noticed the soundtrack updates. They didn't make a big deal out of it, but some of the ambient music during evening hours has changed. There's this subtle blend of soft piano and distant wind effects that just set the tone perfectly when your Zoe walks home under the dim orange streetlights. It's little touches like that which make this version feel more immersive than before. The audio design and visuals are finally syncing up in a way that makes every moment feel cinematic, especially if you're someone who loves to capture in-game screenshots or short machinima clips. As I kept playing, one thing stood out. The relationships feel different now. Because of the mentality changes, interactions aren't as predictable. A friendly chat might unexpectedly turn awkward if one character has a contrasting urge or a hidden grudge. At the same time, emotional connections feel stronger. You'll start noticing Zoe's voice forming habits around the people they care about, like stopping by their house more often or sharing meals together without you having to direct them. It gives this almost emergent storytelling quality, where you're just watching life unfold naturally. It's honestly impressive how subtle yet effective those small changes are. And since it's Halloween season in-game, I couldn't resist testing out how ghosts interact with living Zois. The devs clearly had fun with this feature. Ghosts can do things like move objects slightly, turn lights on and off, or just appear near someone they were close to. It's eerie, but emotional. You'll see a living Zoe pause for a moment as if they sensed something familiar, and it creates this bittersweet moment. You can tell the goal here wasn't to make it horror, it's about memory and connection. It's easily one of the most touching additions in the game so far. So, after spending quite a bit of time in this update, my overall impression is that it's not just a seasonal refresh, it's a statement about where inZOI is headed. The devs are clearly trying to build something that feels more human, more emotionally rich, and more flexible for different kinds of players. The combination of festive content, deeper personalities, and rebalanced pacing really makes it feel like a living world rather than just a simulation. And even though this update's theme is seasonal, the systems it introduces, like mentality and ghost interactions, are going to stay relevant long after the Halloween decorations come down. If you haven't updated yet, I'd say do it now and start a fresh save just to feel how different the flow of life is. Try creating a character with one of the new mentalities and see how their story unfolds. Maybe build a small town full of different personalities and watch how they connect, clash, or support each other. And definitely check out the seasonal activities before they disappear. The atmosphere right now is too good to miss. The flickering candlelight, the faint laughter of trick-or-treaters in the distance, and the gentle hum of life continuing even as ghosts linger in memory. Anyway, that's my full breakdown and honest reaction to the inZOI v0.4.0 update. It's one of those patches that reminds you why this game has so much potential. It's not about adding random features, it's about deepening what's already there, making the world feel more connected to the emotions and choices of the player. I'll probably keep experimenting with this build for a while, maybe even start a mini-series focused on the mentality system and how it changes storytelling. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for now. Let me know in the comments what you think about this update. Have you tried Ghost Play yet? Or do you prefer focusing on the festival side of things? Either way, there's so much to explore. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll catch you in the next one.